We're in these conversations all the time with homeowners. They're standing in a house, they've lived in it for years, decades, and they say something that sounds simple, but it carries a lot of weight. And I know everybody's heard this before. We really love where we live, but we cannot stand this house anymore. We love the street, we love the schools, the community, the neighbors, we love the lot, we love it all, the stores, but inside the house, it's just awful. The layout doesn't work for our families anymore. Ceilings are low in the basement. It's barely usable now that the kids are teenagers. Kitchen, it doesn't connect anywhere. We don't have any flow in the house whatsoever, and we need your help. We don't know what to do. Do we renovate this home, or do we completely knock it down and start over? And here's the truth most people don't hear soon enough. If you make this decision just based on an emotional decision, you can spend an enormous amount of time and money, and you're still not going to get the home that you thought you were building. It's not just about the design. It's not just about the house on the lot. It really is a full, massive decision where you need to sit down and talk to a professional and walk through the two different scenarios. We've been brought into this exact conversation countless times, especially in Toronto. You know, neighborhoods are filled with 80, 120-year-old homes. Everybody loves the location, lots of valuable, great structure, but it just doesn't work. And it's, you know, I've learned over the years, most homeowners think they're choosing between renovation and the rebuild, which they are. But more importantly, they're actually choosing with working what the existing structure is, possibly fighting that existing structure, or getting a complete new build, which allows for any floor plan they can imagine, those great big ceiling heights, nice tall basements, all those things. But it might take a little bit away from your home in fitting in with the rest of the neighborhood. And in a lot of Toronto neighborhoods, this is very, very important. You want your home to feel as if it's still a part of that neighborhood that, you know, breathes the history and tells a story. And people are really infatuated with that and really in love with that aspect of these big renovations in Toronto. Now, before we get into this any deeper, if you're currently facing this decision, renovate or rebuild, don't guess. This isn't something you need to decide on just over a coffee or based on what your neighbor did. Reach out to us. We can walk the property. We can have a look at the engineering, review zoning, and give a clear understanding of what the structure will realistically allow before you commit to either plan. Clarity at this stage can save you hundreds of thousands of dollars and years of frustration. Now, we have two houses on almost the same street. They're about 2 blocks apart, same lot, same neighborhood. One client, you know, really wanting to do the reno. Other client wanted to do the new build. Then the reno client went back to possibly exploring the option of doing the new build. So first we have our reno client over here, and I'm not, you know, talking about a small reno. We were completely gutting, restructuring, moving staircases, underpinning, addition off the back, tearing the roof off, 3rd-story addition going up. So, you know, like there really wasn't much left of this existing house. And, you know, to call it a renovation at this point, splitting hairs a little bit, it was more or less a new build. But the client and his wife love the history of the home, and they really love that old Toronto feeling. So they decided to stick with the renovation, and we're able to walk them through it, do all of our planning with our engineering and everything like that. And of course, through that project, there are a few more things that pop up along the way in a renovation than there is in a new build. And this really for these clients, they had a great experience with it. And now our new build clients who also had a great experience with it, the reason they didn't stick to doing the renovation is they just weren't able to compromise on the footprint of the actual home. They wanted it to be slightly wider so that they could really get the function that they wanted out of the particular home. So they decided to knock down and rebuild. And between both of these clients, you know, we were able to do an exceptional job for both of them with the design, the build, facilitating the entire project for them. but they just two different experiences really, really well. And it boils down to what you personally want to get out of this home. Renovation, it's going to give you that historical feel and that nostalgia, but you're going to have to give up a little bit of possibly what you want out of the function. That new build is going to take away that historical feel. There are things we can do to make it fit into the street that you're on and into that neighborhood of the city, but the functionality is really what pushed these people to make the decision over the new build. Timing, cost, all things like that, you're pretty close to on par with both. So really think about it and sit down what's going to serve you best. So if I have to give a few things on how to go through this crossroads and make this decision, is kind of investigate and see what can be done in your home, and if the functionality is going to work for you. You really got to look at what your non-negotiables are. I'm not talking about nice to haves. I'm not talking about the Pinterest and the inspo. I'm talking about what you cannot negotiate on to live your life on a day-to-day basis. Is it ceiling height? Is it the width of the house? Is it getting a third story on? Do you want to be able to live in a certain way that a renovated home's not going to allow you to live? So you really need to sit down and think about this. And third, if you really have to, you need to sit down and compare the cost. There are some cost differences between the reno and the rebuild, and timing on a reno is going to take a little bit longer than you're going to get on a new build. There might be some more hiccups with the new build with zoning and items like that than there are with a reno. And last but not least, this is probably the most important, is think long term. If you're going to be staying in the home for the next 20 years, you really want to think about the upgrades that you're going to be making that are going to allow you to live in the home for the next 20 years. Make this decision informed, not reactive. Don't feel rushed to make this decision. So if you're trying to make this decision right now and you're confused whether to renovate or build new, reach out to us and we can help you evaluate what you should be doing, what fits best for you. And we really want you to understand before you commit to either path. If you like this video, go over here and check out our next video where we chat about mistakes people make with their 100-year-old home renovations.